royal order of Queen Charlotte, we call the bravest knights of the crown. The fortress is under siege. Our enemy is near. Make ready the army. Upwards of 70,000 strong shall fight to the death. Bring me the knights of the crown table.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Knights of the Crown Table podcast. I'm Myles here, back with Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you.
And we got Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Myles. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, glad to have you back. And welcome to the return of the night, Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
Doing great. After a couple of weeks off, it's great to be back with you guys.
All right, glad you got that little vacation there. But glad to do what? Is that a good vacation?
So tell you what, I'm gonna need a vacation from my vacation. I didn't get to rest at all, so this is kind of my downtime, getting to chit chat with you guys about the great ways that our soccer program's going.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Two of the worst teams in the league and 1 point to go with it. But yeah, so we'll go ahead. We got a little bit of a different style this week with the overreactions. It's kind of a head-to-head versus situation. But our first one here is the two reactions. Subbing off attacking players too early was the problem. And then the opposition of that is that the call was correct in the formation, but we just didn't execute it. So what are you thinking, Matt? How do you feel about those?
Yeah, just looking at this one, I really wish we would have kept going, kept the same players in there. Maybe not all of them, but just kept that attacking mindset, because I think we had Colorado on the ropes. We did, and we just sat back, and anytime you do that, and Colorado was getting shots on goal, and one was bound to go in, and unfortunately, the whole big debate about marks, and whether it's marks, whether it was the system, the dropping back into a defensive shell, if you will. So I would say that that it was the subbing off of the attacking players, or attacking players too early. We're at home. You really would, against Colorado, they're right down there, with us, kind of at the bottom of, towards the bottom of the West, right? So, I can understand Latanzio wanting to get the win, and trying to get the 2-1 win. I think that's what I predicted the score would be. But
right. You almost had that.
Or almost had it. But yeah, for me, I would have liked to seen just keep the pedal down. Yeah, what about you, Kyle? What are your thoughts on this first point here?
So, having a coaching background, being a coach of all different kind of teams over the last couple of years that I've, the last decade or so that I've been teaching, I kind of looked at this a little bit differently. I tried to put on my lens that Latanzio was looking at this through, and a lot of times I go out there and I tell my players, hey, listen, done these things, we've put these plays in, we've put these systems in, and now it's time for you to go out and execute it and to make it happen. So I kind of looked at it from, that lens. The thing is that the system that was put in, as a coach, you kind of have to look a little introspectively and say, okay, so maybe the system that I put in here at the end of the game didn't work. I can think of situations at the end of games where, I decided to, not pressure the inbounder on a last second, throw in, and they were able to throw the ball freely across half court and make a game-winning shot because we didn't play it right. Well, yeah, my guys should be able to execute that, but they didn't. I didn't put them in the correct positions to win. It seems like here Latanzio, at the end, he was playing not to lose, not playing to win, and there's a definite difference between the two.
Right.
He legitimately parked the bus. He went to that 5-back and parked the bus. And yes, again, like you said, there's the whole debate whether or not Marks is to blame for that. But it's almost like allowing them to have that opportunity to have that possession when we had, we kept the possession for a lot of the game, man. We were on the attacking front, and then it was like, all right, you know what? We're in the 70th minute or something like that. We're going to pull it back. I can understand that if you get it to the 80th or the 85th minute and you decide to pull it back now. But with 20, 25 minutes or whatever it was left in the game, that's pretty early to take your foot off the gas when you're struggling defensively as it is. So for me, I was having this inner battle. There was some of me that had a soft spot for Latanzio in this, and that yes, they are professionals. They should be able to execute the 5-back and not have that goal happen. But having problems on defense, and he's got to realize that. He's got to notice that and say, okay, this offensively going and just keep the possession on their half, even if we don't score another goal, or at least taking this time up. Paul, what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, it was absolutely the wrong decision from Latanzio. I mean, he literally played to avoid losing, and he lost the game. It was clearly obvious. Anybody who's watched it should be able to discern that right away. If you remember, we scored in the 62nd and the 65th minute. And right after that, we decided, all right, we're just going to play to avoid losing. We got this. We got 2 goals. They got 1. I think that's enough to win. That's what Latanzio is sitting there thinking. And then I want to say it's about 7 minutes later, you saw Colorado started making some aggressive changes. They took off Beta Shore. They put on that Barrios guy who ended up getting the goal for them. And we countered by putting on Jason Byrne and taking off Swiderski. And so we went even more defensive then. That's when we switched to the 5-4-1. And we just kept letting them have pressure. We let them have all these spaces. You guys saw they were taking shot after shot after shot, especially from outside the box, and they were all on target. And one of them even hit the post. I mean, it beat Marks and it hit the post. Thankfully, it hit the outside of the post, or it could have gone in. What was like the 85th minute or something. You could almost watch the game and tell that goal was coming because we were inviting it to come. The best form of defense is to have the ball and have the possession, and the other team simply can't score. And you're at home and you're against one of the worst teams in the West, a team that's only scored 3 goals the entire season. Should be the one that's dominated and sending them the message that we're gonna not only we up 2-1, we're gonna go for that 3rd and that 4th goal. You watch other teams in Major League Soccer. I don't know if you guys watched the Portland versus Seattle game. Portland went down 1-0, tied it up, got a second one, and then they just kept going. They ended up winning 4-1. They didn't go into ultra defensive once they were up 2-1 against their biggest rivals. They kept that foot on the gas and they just kept going. And then the other thing is, you have to look at our team right now. We've played 8 games. We've had 4 major blunders that have led to goals. Lewis game, Malanda passed the ball backwards and just kind of sold out Sisiega. He had no chance. I'll remember the back pass that went to Nathan Byrne that he fumbled in the New York Red Bulls game that they scored. The Olympico goal in Toronto is just, Marks was in the wrong spot. And then this one where he probably should have punched the ball away. If he just punches it to the left side of the box, obviously we would have won the game because the time was pretty much out. But put him in a bad position. Latanzio him up to fail, if you think about it.
To be fair,
frustrates me the most.
To be fair, we did tie the game. So even though we tied the game, it felt like a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course it felt like a loss because we had the win and then Marks makes a terrible mistake. Look, there's no question that Marks cost us the game in that moment. But when you look at the overall picture, it could have been anything. It could have been when they blasted that one shot that hit the post. That could have gone in, right? And then maybe his blunder cost us. Then we get no points, right? So we were setting ourselves up for failure. And what's crazy is also remember when Myles and I were watching on the live stream, they just kept going down the right, and nothing was happening. And then as
Yeah.
soon as we decided to go down the left, we got both of our goals to the left side. When Kerwin Vargas was involved in both of them, Persky got both assists. I mean, both were created on the left side. And it seems like right after we went up 2-1, after Juzwiak and Coach are over there celebrating and giving each other hugs, and there's beer showers everywhere, said, that's it. We've got the game won. And there was 25 minutes left in the game. It was a terrible decision.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that sums it up, right? Like that. Talking about the live stream, that's pretty much what we saw. Is we talked heavily about how they're going to the right side. They're going to the right side. They even had a graphic. I think it was at halftime, and it was like 60% was to the right. You know, and that's. I mean, that was 2/3, and that's also factoring in the middle and the left side. It was just not a balanced attack. And I think that, I mean, anybody could have realized that. So definitely the manager for Colorado, I mean, he's seen that, you know. He's like, well, I need to, they're coming this way, you know, you defend that way. And then when we switched it up, like you said, we got the goals. And just, I think that the subbing off the attacking players with 15 minutes left, while also putting on like a group of people that are struggling anyway, I think it's not good. I mean, George Marks gets the blame because yeah, he could have punched it out, and yeah, maybe he's the reason why we have 2 less points than we should have. But at the end of the day, he was kind of just stuck. I mean, we had, and I even mentioned this too, like when we were watching, is that I expected Harrison to be awful. Harrison Awful to be subbed off because he's a little older, and it's not too unlikely to see him come off, you know, because of tired legs and such. And he wasn't, and you know, he got burnt there, and it was kind of his fault just as much, you know. And just the defense was not playing well, even in the last little bit. We were playing off our back, and they just had so many chances there. And we just pretty much accepted that we were going to try to win 2-1, and it just didn't work out for us. And especially for a team that's not getting anything, I don't know why we took our foot off the gas. Because, what do we have to lose at this point, right? I mean, we took a draw where we gave up a goal after the 90th minute, and they score, and it's going to feel like a win for them, and then it feels like a loss for us, you know. So what more can you say? I feel like Lattanzio is just, he's not thinking about this, and a lot of people are upset because it seems like a lot of the times when his interviews, he's not taking a lot of responsibility. And I'm not a fan of that. When a coach, you know, you're going to get a lot more sympathy if you're like, we need to talk about this, opposed to like just disregarding it. And I know this is about soccer, but like this makes me think of Matt Rule all over again, where he would never take responsibility for anything. But I don't know. I've seen so many people like blaming players in certain situations when they were put in a bad situation. Honestly.
Yeah. And it's frustrating too that he takes no accountability. This wasn't a one-time thing, right? If this was just one game where Marks makes that blunder and we haven't blundered at all and we tied the game and we still had this great winning record, we had like 14 points or whatever, and we could say, oh yeah, the player made a mistake and we lost it. We had a great idea, we just didn't execute it. But we have 6 points in 8 games. If we have 1 win on the season, we're not playing good right now.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of people that want to talk to us on Twitter, and they want to say, no, Lattanzio had these brilliant tactics, and the players just didn't execute, and you know he did the right thing. Well, clearly he didn't do the right thing because we didn't get the result. Right? If he did the right thing, we would have won the game, right? And we probably would have won 3 or 4-1. But we didn't. We tied 2-2. So don't tell me that Lattanzio did the correct thing, because clearly he did. And also on Awful, when he got burned on the right side, he got cooked 2 minutes later on almost the exact same play by Barrios, but we got lucky that Tuiloma was over there to clear the ball away. You remember that, Myles? We almost gave up another goal.
Yeah, and that's
the same thing. He got cooked.
Right, and the thing is like, say we scored another goal, right, and it would have been 3, and even if that blunder happened, like, we would laugh it off. We'd be like, oh, that was tough for Marks, he makes mistakes, but, like, just, like, to compare, and we'll get into more of this later, like, with the goalkeeper situation, but in the past, we've had goalkeepers make that mistakes when we've had that multiple goal lead, and it lead to a goal, and nobody's been trashing them as much as George Marks is getting trashed right now. Like, he's being completely talked about by a lot of people. I mean, to be fair, there's some people that are defending him, but, like, if we would have had another goal, this wouldn't even be a talking point this week, pretty much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, George wouldn't be getting as much hate. But, yeah, it's just, I think there was so much with the attacking players that was just an issue that taking them off too early just overall was just not something good to do. But
yeah, if this was just like a one-time thing, but this has been a repeating pattern with Coach Latanzio, like not getting subs right and things like that, and it's like, you can't, Mark's, it wasn't good. The mistake obviously wasn't good, but like he, I don't want to say like he's allowed that mistake, but kind of almost is, because he's pretty much stood on his head like every other game we've had, right? So,
right.
Like, pretty much one mistake by him, and everybody's so I mean, this is not a George Marks issue. This is, one win in 8 games. I mean, it's not cutting it. This is a repeating pattern with Coach Latanzio, and like, I like the guy as a person, but right now, like, I'm done with it. I'm done with the experiment. Just to get blunt, I'm done with the experiment, and I think that, if we, I can understand if we don't have somebody lined up that is capable of managing this team. I can understand them not wanting to pull the trigger now and just put somebody that doesn't know what they're doing in place of Latanzio, but that's just, I'm finished with it right now. I want Latanzio to succeed, for as long as he's here, but I'm on the we need a new coach train. That's just what it is right now, because I've seen enough.
Right.
Terrible. We've all seen it. It's not working. You know what I mean? And it's just another game where he leaves Brant Bronico on the entire game. It provided no value. Again, you watch the first goal, he's way behind the play, right? He's like holding his hand up for offsides, like not even, he's trying to run as fast as he can't even get there. And on the second goal, he actually had a chance to step up right in front of the guy who made that really good weighted through ball pass, right? But instead, Bronico's all kind of like playing it safe, just standing around in the middle, like not even stepping up trying to block it or intercept it, playing with intensity at the end of the game. And then, he just kind of like watches it as it goes over, and then, the keeper makes some blunders. And the rest of the game, he just does nothing. He makes the absolute safest passes ever, right? He doesn't make any dangerous passes, tackles, and then but he fouls the whole time, right? He plays the ball out of bounds, does nothing. And who does Latanzio take off first? Who's the first guy he takes off? He takes off Karol Swiderski, who had 2 assists, and was probably the most dangerous player. Takes him off. That's what makes me mad.
Yeah.
Well, that's like last year we were talking about Latanzio. He wouldn't make his subs until like the 82nd, 83rd minute.
Yeah.
Much too late for it to make an impact. And now this year he's moved his subs up a little bit, but now he's completely deflating the ball, deflating the game or any kind of momentum that we had. So I'm kind of with Matt on this one. I'm with the rest of you guys. It's we've seen it. We made a pretty rushed decision last year to sack Marr. And now this year it looks like we just we went with the next best thing, or what was the next best thing, and it seems like it's not playing out. Got to either ride out this year with Latanzio and find someone else at the end of the year, or Tepper's got to Tepper or Cornetta's got to step up and do something different.
For sure.
Yeah. It's something's got to change, and there's a lot that's just up in the air,
It's
we needed to get. We needed to get all 6 points in our last 2 games, and we got 1 point. And now we're looking ahead, and we're just going to start open cut play, right? And we got some really good teams, starting with Columbus Crew on Saturday, that are coming to town. It's not looking good on the horizon right now. Myles, remember, we were looking at, outside of open cup, we were looking at when our next win may actually be. It may not be until late June when we play Montreal. It might be our next win.
Right. And that's scary. Like, it's when are we going to win? In the MLS, I think we could definitely win the U.S. Open game. It's going to be like absolutely terrible if we drop points there, or drop a game there, because that could be like a last straw situation. But I don't know, and something's got to happen. We got to get more goals, and all these DPs up there, it's like, where are the goals? What's happening? But
who would have ever expected that Kamil Józwiak would lead our team in goals right now?
Right. It's a 3-way tie, right, between he and
Petty and Vargas.
Yeah.
Hey, but credit to Józwiak. He stepped up a little bit, and showed a little bit of life. So I'll give him credit for that.
Right. And our second one there, it's talking about one of those DPs that we've talked about a few times. But you want to tell us about that one, Matt?
So, second overreaction. So, Copetti isn't getting enough help versus Copetti isn't doing enough to be in the starting 11. Cal, what are your thoughts about Enzo? Is he not doing enough, or he's not getting enough help?
If we look at it, he's one of our leading goal scorers. We have, like you just said, we have 3 guys with 2 goals. There was someone that posted earlier, I guess they had done a heat map or something like that of where we usually ball, and it seems like everything that we're doing to go on the attacking half is out on the wing, especially out on that right side. Now I know Kerwin, you get out there and he is cooking guys left and right on the outside. It's not materializing into anything. Copetti he's got to have help. He's got to be serviced for that so that he can put those shots on goal. If he can't touch the ball, he can't do anything. And yeah, there were some people online talking about how he was just walking around and loafing and taking plays off and doing nothing but whining. I watch it, I look at him, and he is like running the entire time. It seems like he is nonstop for, all 90. If he's out there all 90, it seems like he is just nonstop the entire time. And yeah, there are times that he does walk, or he tries to play the ref a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, he's not getting the ball, so he doesn't have a chance to create it, because like we've said in the past, I think Paul has said it in the past, we get down to the box and we freak out and we forget how to play. So if he's not getting the ball, he's not going to have those chances. So, Paul, what do you think about Copetti?
the exact same thing. I mean, he's our number 9 and he's our guy, and nobody's getting him the ball. Look at the second goal that we scored, where Swiderski kind of makes something out of nothing with that cross. He didn't even like try to play it to Kopetti. He just played it to his, his Polish friend, kind of on the back post. But it's like Kopetti is just like left. Nobody wants to get him the ball. Look, I would be upset if Kopetti was getting chance after chance after chance and was just not scoring, right? Then we could sit here and blame Kopetti. We could say, oh, he's not putting the ball on target.
Right.
He needs to do better. He needs to be more physical, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But this is not the case. He's just not getting service. And you guys remember in the Toronto game when they started Nuno Santos, kind of like in that cam spot, we were attacking like crazy, and he was getting chances in that game. Then I don't know what's happened to Santos. He's like, he's fallen out of favor. He's not even on the bench now. Don't know anything about it. And when they asked Latanzio in the press conference about it, he made the whole, well, I only want to talk about the players that are here. So he tells you something's going on, right? He doesn't want to tell you, right?
Right.
And so that's frustrating, And Kopetti needs more service in order to score goals. Just, I still think the guy has the ability to score, 14 goals. That's my prediction for this year. But somebody's got to give him the ball. And another thing, you guys remember during preseason, Bender and Kopetti were connecting like crazy on goals. I want to say they had 3 or 4 goals from Bender setting up Kopetti, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of really good goals. And not giving any minutes to Bender at all. They brought him in the last game of the 90th minute. I mean, he has no chance at that point. So I feel like he needs more service. What are you thinking, Myles?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why we're having players that aren't necessarily creative enough to help get that ball there. Like, I understand Westwood's down, and that's definitely a big hatred thing, I'm sorry, it's like a big thing that's like in the way of us going forward, just with his injury situation. But Bender deserves more time. He creates a lot of opportunities, and Kopetti's deserves that. And yeah, just to clarify, yeah, I agree that Kopetti's not getting the help that he deserves, because the Nuno Santos and Ben Bender kind of situation, I don't know why they didn't end up getting to play more. And just I did see Nuno was like on vacation almost, like he was at some kind of music festival. I'd seen this through Instagram, and so I don't know exactly what was going on there, and of course Latanzio's not going to speak about that, but yeah, he was at some kind of music festival just living his life with his girlfriend. So like I don't know if is this Latanzio losing the locker room. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could be rumored. It seems as if it's going to be about the same, if not a little more time than Mar had last year, and Mar lost the locker room as well, or at least that's what the reports were. But yeah, Kopetti needs more help, and when we get like Westwood back, it's going to be a lot better. But we talked about this a lot on the live stream of Bronico was playing almost a striker too many times. He was getting right where Kopetti needed to be, and I feel like that was hurting our attacking chances. Like, I get it occasionally if somebody comes up, but I swear there were like 4 or 5 times where Bronico was ahead of Kopetti, and just I think that's also, it's like he's getting in the way of Kopetti, right? Like, you can't expect Kopetti to be able to do his job and then somebody go fill in, or you can't have like 3 people standing right beside each other. It's not going to work, right? So I just don't, we need to spread them out more and not just be so kind of close to each other. But I don't know. I don't know why, or like why this isn't being talked about, maybe because it seems to continuously happen. Everything points to Latanzio, and maybe this episode is just going to be completely bashing Latanzio because it feels that way, but like I've sat there, tried to think of it from the other perspective of something that, like, what is he doing that's like even decent, but like the tactics are bad, the formation is bad, the calls are bad, the subs are bad, the starting 11's bad, like, and who knows if he's losing players. I mean, and we'll talk about this even more later. There's like the rumored player that might be coming that has connections with Latanzio, but like, is that even going to be worth it or work out? I mean, I don't know, but what do you think about this one, Matt?
Oh yeah, I'm I'm with the first part that Copetti isn't getting enough help or service, um, because it's like all of our 99%, if not all of our our attack is coming from. It seems like it's coming from the wings, like whether it's whether it's Vargas, whether it's Uzviak coming in. So we just, or to me, we lack the ability to go up the middle on teams, and that's something if this Jack Byrne rumor is true and he comes in. I don't know. Maybe he helps give us that. Maybe along with Ashley Westwood, maybe the ability to play through the middle more, and maybe get Copetti that service. But yeah, I really don't know why Santos and Shinyashiki didn't make the bench versus Colorado, especially Nuno. And I don't know what's happened with Melo. I don't know if did he get hurt again? Has he? It's just like it's just so just an enigma around these things. It's like we don't know. It's like trying to figure out trigonometry or something. Like what's going on?
Right.
Like why aren't we seeing these players, especially Santos, because he's one of our more creative players. But I'm definitely on the Copetti isn't getting enough service bandwagon. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, and just to go through some things that I had. I mean, Vargas is playing really well. I think we need to get him the ball.
Right.
ASAP if we get in the midfield or wherever, you look up and you see Vargas on the wing and he's open, get it to him, because he can work out there.
Yeah.
On that left wing. Had the great goal. That was a great shot and great placement to get the goal. He brings the energy we need. I mean, imagine if we had another player just like Vargas on the right wing, and maybe Melo could be that. But and to give Jaws credit, he's been doing good, and at least he has stepped up and contributed, because we I want to say we were a little down on him, and for good reason, earlier shows. But and like Swiderski, aside from the ball that he played to Uzviak to set up his goal, I didn't think he had a good game. I think there were some wasteful chances, like bad passes. Just like, did you guys notice that? Just like wasted chances. Just like, whether it's kicking the ball from one touch line to the other touch line out of bounds, or like just like freaking out or whatever and skying the ball over, the goal line for Colorado. Like, just settle it down. Like, you don't have to like. I mean,
Yeah, it's like you're giving free possessions to them for no reason.
Right. Exactly. Right, and that's we just waste chances. I don't think he passes the ball in time. I think if he gets it, instead of like passing it off to Vargas, like he just tries to take it, and then it seems like it just breaks down. Like whether he could have got it out to Vargas, and maybe Vargas could have done something with it on the wing. Let's see. I mean, I didn't see much also from Copetti from what I watched, but I still wouldn't I wouldn't drop him from the starting 11 just because of his work rate. But yeah, that's my take on some of the players from what I did watch. And you guys have anything to add to the Copetti situation, our forwards, strikers, DPs?
I mean, you can't drop Copetti because there's nobody else that plays his position. So that's why he's playing the full 90 every game. There's literally nobody else. Last year we had Danny Rios. We had options. We don't have options this year. So once we sign another striker, he's going to be playing every game.
I wouldn't mind seeing Cambridge there, but it's definitely too early, right? And Copetti is not going to lose his spot to Cambridge, The
game that Cambridge came in, you saw the difference in level, okay?
Yeah,
He looked completely lost.
yeah.
He looked lost in the game.
For sure.
He even ran into Copetti and made Copetti pretty upset, But
Right.
when he's down with Crown Legacy, he's always scoring left and right because you can see it's a completely different level.
Yeah, he's at that in-between part, he's a little too good for Crown Legacy, but he's not quite there yet. But, that's kind of hopeful and promising to see, right? And I'd love to see him get time, but definitely Copetti's the starting at the number 9,
For sure. And so let's get into Cal, can you give us our third overreaction?
Yeah, so the third overreaction says a new midfield addition will impact the team a lot. The other side of that, doesn't matter who you put there, it's going to be more of the same, and we've got to get rid of Latanzio. So, Paul, it looks like there's some rumors of a new guy's name's Jack Byrne. Looks like we offered him. What are your takes on the midfield? And I know you're going to say that we need to see more Brent Bronico right there, right?
No, definitely not. I had actually never heard of this youngster, Jack Byrne. I had no idea who he was, and I've actually been scouting him over the last 2 days. I actually signed up for a free trial of LOI TV so that way I could watch him play in the Irish Premier League. That's where he's at, the League of
commitment.
Ireland
That's
Premier
dedication.
Division.
Wow.
Yeah, some dedication. Yeah, I watched his last game. He played against Shelbourne in his last game. He had a couple of assists, played the whole game. But the quality of the league that he's playing in is comparable to the USL. Okay, it's not very good. Is he going to be able to come over here at a step up, a major step up, and perform in Major League Soccer? That's to be determined. When I went and I kind of looked at the player's history, what he's done throughout his career, he's played 114 games for Shamrock Rovers, and that's where he's had the most success. But when he's been over in England and played in the Championship and League One, which is their third division, he hasn't done very well at all. So it's kind of shows some red flags for me. He did have a small spurt over in the Eredivisie, the top league over in the Netherlands. He had 4 goals and 4 assists in 28 games. He played for a smaller team, and sometimes the more bottom teams, like that you see over in that league, aren't the best.
Right.
So I'm seeing kind of a lot of red flags for it. I hope we're not going to pay this guy a lot of money to come over here because it'd be a total bust. I don't know if they're bringing this guy over really for Crown Legacy or if they're actually bringing him over just kind of as a depth piece. There's so many attacking midfielders. For me, this is the last position we need. We need to sign another left back. We definitely need to find some help at center back, and we need another striker. So why they're going and getting this guy, I don't know. But if he comes in MLS and does well, then I'll be for it. I mean, I will say that in the Irish league, he is one of like the most creative players, but that's not saying a whole lot. When you look at the Irish league from top to bottom, the entire valuation, the market value of the entire league, is $10 million less than Charlotte FC. Okay, so that kind of gives you a perspective of what kind of league that he's playing in. So will the guy come over here and be good? I don't know. Apparently, he worked with Lattanzio when Lattanzio was part of the Man City. I guess it was U21 or U19. Looked at his stats. He did some things with that, but a lot of those players end up flaming out, right? Like they kind of throw a bunch of lures out there and see how many fish they get. They go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of academy players just to get 2 or 3 players, right? So not saying a whole lot, even if you played for that academy. But I don't know. You know how Lattanzio is. He gets his guys and he likes certain people and he sticks with them, but it's frustrating, right? Because we're seeing that St. Louis City is talking about getting Roberto Firmino, right? And here we are in Charlotte, and we're like, you know what? We're gonna go to the Irish League and go get this guy Byrne. We're gonna go get him, right? It's like it's what we keep talking about, right? It's what we keep talking about. Garnetta wants to go to these obscure leagues, these players, and he brings them over here, and they're just bang average in MLS, and we're playing against these teams that have these absolute star players, right? And it hurts us, and it makes it so we can't even really compete. That's my take on the situation. So if the guy comes over here and does well, that'll be good for us. But it's gonna be more of the same, in my personal opinion.
Paul, do you see?
Go ahead.
Oh,
no,
Paul,
do
you see from watching a film of Jack Byrne, right? Do you think they're looking at him to be? I don't know. Have you seen is he really like a physical midfielder that's gonna try to move the ball up the middle? Is that what they're maybe trying to go for, or what do you? Why do you think they're looking at him?
He has a strong right foot too. I mean, he actually could score some really nice goals outside the box. But yeah, it looks like they want somebody who's kind of more direct and kind of maybe link up more with Capetti right down the middle. But a lot of the defending that I saw was terrible. I mean, it was shocking how bad it was. So I don't think he's going to be able to get a lot of those passes off in Major League Soccer, even though the MLS defending isn't even that great. But it's far superior to what I was watching. So it'll be interesting to see how his game translates. I will say, if you are able to score outside the box, you're able to score outside the box. He had some absolute bangers. But, the bangers that I saw were in the compilation videos. When I sat down and I actually watched the game, he was taking some shots that are kind of just going to outer space. You know what I mean? So you don't always see the bad with the good. But I will say, if you guys want to take a look at this guy tomorrow, they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing on the road against this powerhouse called St. Pat. So that should be a big game.
Take a look.
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
Anyway, Myles, what do you think?
I think that I'm thinking it might be more of the same. I didn't quite get this Irish League subscription that you went to, but I did watch a couple the compilations, and of course, every time I look at a compilation, no matter what the sport, I'm always I have to remind myself these are the best moments, right? These are not they're not going to be oh, look at this absolute terrible moment he had, They're usually hype things, fan created good moments, but he did have some good shots, some amazing looking goals, right? And of course I understand that's kind of with a grain of salt, is it's not always the case that it's always like that. But yeah, there was pretty much no good defensive moments that were in those compilations, so he's definitely kind of a Cam sort of situation, or trying to influence the attack. So that's not really a help with defense. And of course, like you said, this is kind of a Lattanzio guy, so he's definitely going to stick to his guns, keep with that. I just, and like you said, it's we're what if we tried to get Firmino, or what if we tried to get Aaron Ramsey? It's how about Jack Byrne? It's okay.
Jack Byrne, that's our guy.
Yeah, that's our guy, man. And apparently they've already offered The rumor is there's a 6-figure offer on the table already. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. I don't know. You know, I think it was Top Ben that said that there was like a 6-figure offer already. So I don't know. It's kind of a little worrisome, but we'll have to see what happens. But it's not like I want him to do bad, though, right? I would love for him to come and just do great, but we're just gonna have to see. But I don't think like this is gonna be just a plug one player and everything's fixed situation. You know, that's kind of my thoughts on that. But how do you feel about this, Matt? Like, are you feeling like Jack Byrne is a savior that's gonna come here, lead us to win? You know, we're gonna win the treble. You know, next year.
Yeah, I have to say no. I think I have to say no for right now because I'm just not sold on Latanzio anymore. And right or wrong, like I'm sticking to that because and people may say, well, you're not giving him a fair chance, but how many times are you gonna say, okay, maybe this game, maybe this game, maybe this game, and it doesn't change, and so until we see otherwise, I'm gonna have to say it's not really gonna make a difference. So I mean, just like a blunt answer, or kind of a blunt answer for you there, but yeah, I mean, what I like for that guy to come in and just start scoring golazos from the top of the box or whatever. Yeah, sure, but you also have to be realistic, and he's if he does come over here, like, how long is it going to take for him to adapt to MLS, to adapt to his teammates? So I wouldn't look for a instant change, even if he did come over here. So I'm just being kind of just being Debbie Downer on this whole thing, but but that's just me. What about you, Cal?
Yeah, I'm with all you guys. I don't see him coming in from where he's at being a a star, a diamond in the rough. Dive into the depths of the unknown leagues, find that guy that's gonna just take over and take the world by storm. It's not. I mean, yeah, he might come in and he might do decently. He might come in and help service Capetti a little bit and get him the ball, but I don't see that happening. I don't see us. I don't see him being that kind of player. And like you guys said, I went back and watched some highlights and a little bit of game film, and yeah, he's hitting those beautiful goals. But then when you turn around and look at some of his defending again, it wasn't. Some of that wasn't great. So yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't think it doesn't matter right now if we put this guy in the midfield or keep Brent Bronico there or whoever it is. It's going to be more of the same because it's more formation and system based than anything else at this point. Let's see, Paul, what we got next on tap for us?
And let me add one last thing about this Jack Byrne guy. I don't think he's going to come in and do anything that Ben Bender isn't already doing and better. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be better than Bender.
100%.
And we already have this guy here who's been here. It's his second season, and he's a young player. We don't have to spend $1 on him because we drafted him, right?
How old is Byrne? Do you know that?
I want to say he was 27, 28.
I think he's 26, maybe. Yeah, right in there.
So he's in his
Right, yeah, he is.
so he's like in his mid-20s.
Right, and the chemistry from Bender's there already.
He's got 2 goals this year in 10 games in the Irish League. not exactly eye-popping stats that we're looking at. More thing, if you want to actually, thankfully there's a free trial. Listen to this. You guys think Apple TV's a lot. If you want to watch the Irish League, it's 120 pounds the entire season, which is like $60.
Wow.
Hmm.
I wonder if they get less GMC commercials and the ability to watch the whole game without glitches
Oh,
or
man.
full audio.
Can't imagine it being that much when you could pay like ESPN, what is it, $9 a month to watch all the
Right.
USL games that you want, and you'll get the same quality, probably better actually.
Right.
Anyways, the looks like the next overreaction is going to be about Marks again. So what I got here is Marks does things that Kalina does, but is better in every way. Versus Marks cost us 2 points against Colorado, and that's it. We're going to have to bench him. What do you think, Myles?
Yeah, I think that we've touched on this already, but I don't think you bench him. I think he's the guy. I do think that interested me, the conversation that he does everything that Kalina does, but better in every way. I think there's some truth in that, honestly. I think that he's this was kind of a point I was talking about earlier that I said I would talk about more later, was the fact that there's been situations where Kalina in the past has allowed some goals where we were up by like maybe 2-3 goals, and it didn't really impact the outcome of the game because we were up already, but they were his mistakes, right? And we didn't think anything about it, we didn't say anything, but Marks has played unreal with a very shaky defense in front of him, and not to mention just an overall poor play from the team in general. So I mean, I think that he's the goalkeeper, and I think he needs to stay there. I know people are going to hate on him, and I 100% think that he cost us 2 points in the exact situation that he was in versus Colorado, but I don't think that he needs to lose his job, nor is that like completely, like maybe he's like 50% or whatever, the reason we only got 1 point out of that. But at the same time, like, he kept us in that game. There was some of the shots that have went in on him, nobody's stopping those. Like, they've just been insane angles, or just a golazo. Just, it's not like he's going to be able to stop it, and I just don't think that he is to blame for a lot of the issues there. But he might be better than Clint. I'm not like saying that he does everything better than Kalina. Maybe I'm leaning towards he does. So, and I'm somebody who liked Kalina, but I think Marks has earned that spot. Kalina can keep doing that Crown Legacy. But what about you, Matt? What are you feeling?
Yeah, can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mark's, the blunder is enough to bench him. I mean, his whole, we didn't lose the game. We did draw, but, I don't think that's enough or it shouldn't be enough to just outright, bench him after that. I wouldn't think. So, yeah, I mean, just turn into, let's see. I mean, Marks, he had some good saves once again. And we see the defense, once again, left him out to dry on the first goal. And, the second one, yes, he has to do better at getting to that ball and, securing it or punching it away. But, we're not going to sugarcoat that. It was a terrible mistake, but it was good hustle by Barrios, and Awful looks like he may have got caught sleeping a bit. Maybe he thought Marks had it and just pulled up. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, he should have secured that. But to me, that the way he's been playing, I think it would take another blunder or so like that for him, to get pulled. So now, is the team would the team be more comfortable at the back with Kalina? Possibly, but Kalina is just getting back. So to throw Kalina in versus Columbus, who is pretty hot, I don't know about that. I don't know if I would throw him out there just yet versus a team like that. Maybe if it was against Colorado and we were able to put Kalina out there, but that's my take on that. What do you think about that, Kyle?
Yeah, so Marks has made a ton of saves, a ton of spectacular saves, and one time he makes a mistake, it's like they are ready to box him up and send him out of here. And I know I'm not going to compare him to any Premier League, but a couple of examples I've seen over the weekend, or just the last couple of days, in the Premier League, you have Arsenal up 2-0 against West Ham, and they're tied 2-2, and one of those is most likely on Ramsdale, and yet Arsenal fans are saying, oh, I know, again, it is Aaron Ramsdale and it is Arsenal, and he's a top goalkeeper, but they're not in here ready to skewer Ramsdale and get rid of him for making a mistake and drawing in, even though it does close in City closer to the title race. He made the mistake, and goalkeepers, they have short memories a lot of times, and they have to. Fans have to realize that it's gonna happen. It's gonna make a mistake. And it could be that Ramsdale mistake is much more costly than a George Marks miss in a game against Colorado. And then just recently, the guy from Manchester United, I think it's De Gea or something like that.
Yeah.
He had an absolute horrible game. It's if Marks has a game like that, that they're gonna just there's gonna be riots in the in the stadium for him to have a game like that. So we've got to look at it that we're actually pretty fortunate, with the way Marks is playing. I mean, the guy's been playing, how many ever less games than all of his other top goalkeepers, and he was still up in the top, 3 or 4 as far as save percentage goes. So, I mean, you can't bench Marks right now, even though he made the one mistake. Yes, the one mistake, and again, you can have that conversation whether or not he was put in that position to fail, or if, as I saw someone online say, he is a professional goalkeeper, and that's a routine play by anybody to make that play. Yeah,
I'd like to see them try.
Exactly. But you got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the guy has saved us so many times, and like you've said before, without some of his saves, we might not even be in this game to be talking about a draw. We might be down 3 or 4 to 1 or 2. Right. So yeah, we can't bench him right now, and I do kind of like him. Some of the things he does over Kalina, even if he's only like 5'5", as everybody seems to think. So, Paul, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's definitely our number one. I mean, he made that one mistake in the last game, but like you said, I see keepers at the highest level possible make really stupid mistakes, right? So it's not like it only happens at this level. It happens across the world, and they do have to have short memories and forget about it. And he'll learn from that. He'll say, okay, next time when I come out, I got to punch that ball away, or I got to make sure I securely claim that ball. still a young keeper in terms of his professional career, so he's only going to get better. And everybody wants to see Kalina come back. I know because he was our guy last year, but Kalina made a lot of stupid mistakes. You guys remember the Columbus game last year at home when Zellerain won the free kick at the middle of the field? What did he do? He shot the ball literally from middle of the field. Kalina was so far out of his net, not even paying attention.
Yeah.
Right? You guys remember that, right? Went way over his head. Kalina just walked back into the net to grab it.
Like, what's the worst?
Kalina for that.
What's the worst goal? The goal that Kalina gave up, or the goal that Marks gave up?
Both terrible. I mean, they were both terrible, right? I guess the Marks goal because of the time that it happened in, right, and the manner that it happened. But I still am under the impression that it's not his fault because he was put in a terrible spot to begin with. They were just inviting the pressure and letting Colorado have chance after chance after chance. It was inevitable that the goal was coming. All the signs were there. You knew it was coming. You could feel it coming. You know what I mean? The one, Zellerain kind of just caught Kalina being lazy and just stay out of his net for whatever reason. You're going to see Kalina make a lot of the same stupid mistakes. You know, when Carujo comes back, he's excellent on defense. You're going to see a lot of own goals from him. We all know he had own goal golassas and stuff last year. So it seems to be just like a problem with our team in general, right? And you got to say, all right, who is driving that car, right? It's Latanzio. And who's above him? It's Cornetta. Like, these are the guys you got to blame, in my opinion. It doesn't seem to matter who you put in there. It's the same result. And so I feel like you need to change from the top down.
100%. I agree with that.
It'll be interesting to see who starts against the Crew on Saturday, because whoever starts that game, opposite will start on Tuesday in the Open Cup. So it'll be telling to see if Latanzio decides to use Kalina just for the Open Cup game, or he decides to, let Kalina get the nod back for MLS games, and he'll Mark take over the Open Cup. So I am curious to see what happens.
Right, like watch Kalina like come in and stand on his head versus Columbus if they put him in.
I mean, I hope he does. I hope he does come in and do it, because they got a lot of firepower. So you need somebody that's making a lot of saves, because Columbus going to rack up them shots. You think? I mean, we just let Colorado had like 15 shots, 6 on target. Columbus going to get 20 plus on us.
So what would you rather do? Would you rather have Marks in a game against Columbus, or versus in the U.S. Open match against South Georgia Tormenta?
I'd rather keep Marks in for the MLS game, because he's been our number one. He's played like the last X amount of games. I don't know if it's 5 or 6 of this. He's made some crazy saves. I would just keep going with him. I'm not even sure if Kalina is 100%. I know he played the Legacy game, but in Miami, number 2 was so pitiful. They really didn't even do anything the whole game. So
he was hardly tested,
Kalina
right?
Down there. Yeah, I'm pleased. He didn't even have a chance. So I'd let Kalina, because I feel like against Tormenta, we're probably not going to put the best roster out there. So we'll probably get tested in that game. So if he's kind of easing back into things, let him play that.
We might get all 3. We might get George Marks for the game Columbus. Against Columbus. Crown Legacy might get Kalina, and then Pablo maybe the U.S. Open game.
I don't know about that. I think you'd use Kalina for the Open Cup.
Yeah, we'll see exactly what happens there, but they definitely have options. I have to get this figured out. I do think George Marks should be the first goalkeeper, though. He should be the priority to be goalkeeper number 1.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I watched an interview with Kalina, and he said it's not important to him. So it seems like he doesn't mind if he's the number 2 at all. Like, he was very clear, like, it's not important to me. I'm just out here doing what I got to do, which is, a lot of keepers who want to be the number 1 are like, oh, that's my position. I'm going to win it back, yada yada. But he seems pretty content.
It means a lot to the fans, though, right? Because it's like, if you understand, like, you're just trying to actually help just the team instead of like, I'm trying to be the best, Like, And of course, they might still be trying to be the best, but the fact that like they're just wanting the team to be in the best situation possible, I can respect that a lot. Because I've seen Clint has been pretty involved in regards to the community and the fans and stuff, and so it's good to see that. But is there anything else y'all have about the goalkeeper situation or how y'all feel?
Just going a little bit to the defense. Oh man, just poor Tui Loma. Like he's just like or still more of a liability than an asset, you know. And defense is their defense is in shambles. So ready for Carujo to get back and hopefully we can sign another center back soon, because Tuilomas, I mean, he's just been a liability,
Yeah.
whether it's own goals, whether it's just not good passes, whether it's just letting people run by you. So I mean, yeah, the defense is, the defense and the offense is not great, but if we had a pretty good defense, we could have, who knows, maybe at least three more wins.
Damn.
So, but I digress on that.
But yeah, I agree with a lot of those points, and I feel like the last overreaction we have kind of sums up everything in general. It's we either have, do you trust the process and look how good Crown Legacy is doing because that's a part of that process, or do you think trash the process and fire everybody possible that's a part of that? Because these are questions I see constantly. It's like either people like just calm down, we're overreacting, we're still 3 points out from from the last playoff spot, which is true, but like that's because everybody else is losing and a lot of people get in. But like, or is it, get rid of everybody, Cornetta, Latanzio? How do you feel about this one, Matt?
Well, to be consistent with just what I've said, I think we need, if not a new sporting director, a new coach. I don't really know. I don't really know understand the correlation between, Crown Legacy and us. And in that aspect, but I don't know if I'm for trash the process and fire everyone possible, but maybe Latanzio, and then it's like somebody needs to have a talk with Cornetta or Pepper or whoever and say, look, we have to we need to go after players that are quality and that know how to play the game and are going to be lethal scorers and good defenders. So we need to just everything, in my opinion, doesn't need to change, but something needs to change. So So to be fair, I'm still on the we need to do a new coach until I'm proven otherwise. I mean, I hope that I'm proven totally wrong, down the line, and we start rattling off wins, and everybody was like, see, trust the process, but I can only go on what I see right now, and it's not good. So,
Right.
Kyle, what do you think about trusting the process or trash the process?
So I want us to go back to 2013 when a professional basketball team decided to use the mantra "trust the process," and that would obviously be the Philadelphia 76ers. Trusted the process for 7 or 8 seasons before it finally paid off and got them a first place in the Atlantic Division. So back in 2013 is when they finally trusted the process, and they won first in Atlantic in the Eastern Conference in 2020 and 2021. So if we're willing to trust the process and let it play out, ready to ride this thing out for a decade, the first 5 years of our program, are we really ready to trust that process for that long? Philadelphia obviously is the 76ers are obviously an older club, an older group. They had that built up. We're a brand new club. I don't know that we have the luxury to trust the process, especially when you look at teams like St. Louis City, who came in on fire. We're kind of limping into it. So I don't know if I'm on the trust the process. I'm also, I don't know if I'm on the full blown trash the process either. Like you, I don't know that we clean house and start over. Maybe we do. Maybe we get to that point. I kind of I do kind of waffle back and forth on these two. I do like where Crown Legacy is, but as we saw with Cambridge when he came in, it like Paul said, it is two separate leagues, two separate playing styles and levels. So something's got to change. I'm with you there, Matt. I don't know if it's got to be Latanzio or Cornetta or combination, but I don't want to completely trash everything that we have built and burn it to the ground and start over. But I also don't want it to continue like it's going. So, and it's a good debate to have. It may not be the best debate for us to have, being the, set in the first part of our second season. But, we're here. So, we might as well have it. And obviously you can tell we're not going to be a butterflies and roses and daisies type of podcast. We're going to bring it to you like it is. So, that's where I'm at. So, Paul, where are you sitting at on this?
Yeah, this process is just not working. I mean, well, you can't take a look at Crown Legacy and compare it to this. Like it's a different level. It's not the same thing. Like the majority of the people that are playing that MLS Next Pro are never ever going to see Major League Soccer ever, right? The best they might do is USL Championship, right, or USL League One, but you're going to have one or two guys here and there. It's kind of like throwing darts at the dartboard. One of them will hit, right? But the other 100, you might miss, right? So I wouldn't even compare the two. But the process here is just, it's not working. And it has to start from the top. It has to start with Cornetta going out and kind of screwing the roster from the get-go. You guys remember MAR? Remember what he said at the beginning of the season last year, right? He said in Spanish, he basically said that we're screwed because he knew that he wasn't given good enough players, right? Like we have, Tita's good enough for 500, right? But it's not good enough to be one of the top teams in Major League Soccer. Right? Like we just talked about earlier, St. Louis City wants to get Roberto Firmino, and we're trying to go get this guy over in Ireland, right? Like it's like our culture is completely different. And you look at a lot of the players that we went out and got. When we built the team, we spent $2 million on a transfer fee for Jan Sobozinski, and he doesn't even play here. He plays the Crown Legacy, right? Like, what a complete waste of money. Yeah, and we could have all seen that coming. Yeah, he was in the Polish second division, so no surprise, right? We went out there, we got Sergio Ruiz, He was playing in the second, La Liga over there, not in the regular one, but the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And he came over, and he wasn't even that great, right? And we had to send him back for $1 million. And we brought Jody Alcivar in. It didn't work. We brought in that number 10. I forget his name, but he was on loan from Tijuana. You remember him? Didn't work.
Christian Ortiz.
That didn't work, right?
TT Ortiz.
Tried to bring in McGree. McGree was smart. He went over to the championship and he said, "Screw you guys, I'm out of here." Right? He left. The process it's just not working, right? And we see the guys that we do get over here. They're just average, man. When you sit here and you watch LAFC and you watch Seattle and you watch Atlanta and you watch all these other top teams, there's Swiderskis and these type of guys aren't DPs on those teams. They're just they're role players. Their DPs are leaps and above of that, and we haven't even tried to get players like that to make this team successful, right? And then we got kind of a goofball manager that gets everything wrong. He gets the tactics wrong, the subs wrong. Everything is wrong. It's just a complete disaster, right? And in my opinion, it needs to be burned out and restart. But it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to start with the sporting director by getting him out first. Because Dave Tepper's got a ton of money, and if he's serious about Major League Soccer, and he has to spend a little bit more money and go out there and get some of these banger type players that are going to come over. We've talked about it on the last two podcasts. You got guys that are in their early 30s that are over in Europe that are playing in top leagues, still have a ton of potential, and that are going to come over here to MLS, absolutely kill it, right? And they're going to be on every team except for our team, and we're just going to be left in the dust. And that's my personal opinion on it. Just turn it down. What do you think, Myles?
Yeah, I kind of lean towards the burn it down, because it's like, look, as someone who's a fan of sports teams in the Carolinas, we just got rid of somebody who wanted us to trust the process and wanted 7 years, and I'm not for that. I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that again. And I was happy last year that we got rid of Mar, because I thought, we were going to be serious. If stuff is not working, we're going to get rid of, and it's just like looking at that, like talking about how Mar was talking about, oh, we're screwed because of the player quality is just not there. And now Latanzio is just saying that it's lack of energy and stuff. It's there's got to be something. And yeah, I agree that Crenena has a lot of blame too, because the players that we're acquiring, we're not going after big names. And I know that we're not going to be stealing people from teams that are in Champions League or anything like that, but there's definitely more quality out there than the what was it, the Belarus league, or what was all these little small leagues, second Polish division. Yeah, the Bulgarian. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. St. Louis City, they built their team. They went over and got one of the keepers who was playing Champions League and played over 100-something games for Dortmund,
right?
Top teams in the Bundesliga in Germany, right? That's been to Champions League finals and whatnot. And they signed that keeper, and he's not even a designated player. And we decided we're going to go to Bulgaria and go get Kalina, playing for Ludogorets and giving up 3-4 goals a game. Right. Our mentality from the get-go is what I told you guys. I said we could build a Major League Soccer team, not a USL championship. Right? That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's why St. Louis is crushing it. Also, they got Gavacini. Remember Nicholas Gavacini when he was playing with the U.S. soccer team a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
We're all like, oh, that's the next big thing, right? They went and got him, right? They identified Klaus, a really good, big physical striker. They're not playing games over there. They're playing to win right away.
And,
the process
and now they might get Firmino.
Day one. They might get Firmino, yeah. And if they don't get him, you know who they want to get? They want to get Josh Sargent, because he's from St. Louis. So they're trying to get legitimate players that are going to kill Major League Soccer, and we're going over to the Irish Premier League to go get some guy that has 2 goals in 10 games.
And where exactly is this team on the table and that's trying to improve? Anybody tell me where St. Louis is at right now? It's at
Number
the
one
top.
of the rest,
right? Like, this is a team at the top still trying to improve, and it's like, that's how you have to do. The whole MLS image is you have to put your foot down, pedal to the metal. This is not a league where, parking the bus or letting off is just going to work. And I just don't think that Lattanzio is cut out for this league. That's just to kind of sum it up. I think Cornetta's just not. So, yeah, I'm slowly convincing myself that, trash the process is the way to go. It's just Cornetta's not getting the players in, and even with the issues that we have, it's just not working out for Lattanzio. And yeah, speaking like with St. Louis City, I know y'all feel this. Like, it stings so much worse with how successful they are, and compare it to all these other clubs that like the Cincinnati, the Austin, like how well they have done in such a short period of time compared to like where we're at. Like, it's just like such an eye roll, and just like, oh my gosh. And I know we talk about like attendance potentially going down over time, and like because of poor performance, or people intentionally throwing beers at people instead of just a beer shower. But I don't know if y'all seen that, but like just, I don't know, there's just so much that's just, it's just, the seats are on fire at this point, and I'm just waiting to hear you're fired, and that we've parted ways from Cornetta and Lattanzio. That's kind of where I'm at.
St. Louis just watched the game because they were in that tornado delay or whatever, right? After our game was over. And they played against Cincinnati, who was at the top of the East with New England, and they steamrolled them 5-1. And Cincinnati got a late consolation goal. Really, the game was like 5-0.
Yeah.
And they're just having their way with it. I mean, and this is the first year team because they play to win, and we don't.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
And any final thoughts on that?
I mean, we're gonna be having this conversation every week, Myles, until we get rid of Cornetta and Lattanzio, because it's not going to change. I mean, it's just be the same thing. We've watched the game, we go through it all. It's the same thing every week.
Yeah.
Until we change those guys out. So the process here is there is no process. Let's be honest, right? The process here is not working, right?
Right.
It's unidentifiable, whatever it is, right? We already said the heartbeat of the team is Brant Bronico, right? That shows you what our process is. It's not working. Hit the reset button.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's going to be a repetitive almost. It's going to feel that way, but it's like, what do we do? They're not going to do anything, it seems, at times. And are we going to be able to even deal with this for the whole remainder of the season? Because a lot of the reports are that even if he is going to be sacked, it's not going to be till the end of the season. And I just don't know how I'm going to be able to deal with that. Like, especially if we're supposed to be considered like a serious team, right? Like, this summer window coming up, it's going to be a good time to try to acquire some big name players, or to acquire, or even just figure out if there's a backup plan for coach, or sporting director. Like, we have to figure something out, though, because I'm not going to just sit around and be all sunshine and rainbows, like, you know what, we'll get them next week, guys. Like, we got this, and, don't forget to hug your best friend tonight. Like, no, like, we're losing, and yeah, it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows here. If it's not sunshine and rainbows, I mean, we'll have the most beautiful rainbows and flowers if it's that way, right? But it ain't. It's just, it's a dark place. We have one win and a lot of losses and not many draws, but it's just, if they do good, we'll do good and we'll be happy. But there's not a lot of happiness going on right now here. It's Monday every day, that's how it feels. But yeah, it's been tough. But hey, we've got 2 games in the next week before the next episode will come out. So we got 2 separate predictions that we're gonna have to do this week. So of course we've talked about it. Saturday we've got the match versus Columbus, for, which is MLS, of course, and then we have is Tuesday versus South Georgia Tormenta FC for the Open Cup. So, how do we feel about those games, Matt? Are you ready on our journey to win the Open Cup?
So we're doing Columbus first.
Yeah. So, yeah. What do you think about the matchup, and what's your predictions?
Well, the only good thing about this game may be the weather. So if you're thinking about going to the game, just to switch to the weather, it's supposed to looks like it's supposed to rain thunderstorms like earlier in the day, and then around 4 a few showers, then from 5 p.m. on looks really good. Just a little breezy, so it looks like a good a good weather situation as far as the game goes. But let's see, just a few. Let me give you a few tidbits from FOTMob on their website. So we obviously gotta watch out for Zella Ryan. Looks like his average rating is 8.08.
Pretty high.
He has 4 goals, right? 2 assists, in 7 matches played. And let's see. And so Charlotte FC, it says ranked 16 in goals scored per match, 1.1 goals. Consequently, Columbus is ranked 2 in goals scored per match at 2.3 goals. We haven't. Charlotte FC has not kept a clean sheet in 10 matches. Another good thing, and Paul, maybe this is the game that, Copetti gets a penalty. Maybe he gets fouled in the penalty box. Columbus have conceded the most penalties this season, which is, it's only 2, but that's the most, right? And then we haven't won at home in our last 5 matches, which is very disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so Columbus is averaging 2.3 goals per match. So, there's some tidbits, and you can do what you will with them. But I'm not gonna get burnt this game. I'm just gonna keep it real. I think my prediction is 3-1 Columbus, and that's what I'm gonna go with. I just until I see is and things like that, I'm not gonna get my hopes up anymore. So, and then we want to move on to the Tormenta match.
Yeah. What are you thinking, feeling there in prediction?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know too much about them. I don't know what kind of lineup Latanzio might throw out there, but if last year is any indication, I'll go 4-1 Charlotte FC.
Nice.
So let's see. Yeah, so that's mine. just lost something here. Yeah, Kyle, what do you think about the Columbus match and the Tormenta match?
Yeah, Matt, you must have been looking at my notes or something like that because everything you just said, all I could say is right down to the score predictions: 3-1 Columbus and 4-1 Charlotte over South Georgia. Like legitimately down point by point. I don't know if you had access.
We did not look at notes, people.
Notes, but it is legitimately the same exact thing. So yeah, 3-1 Columbus on Saturday, and Tuesday 4-1 Charlotte. Paul, what are you thinking?
All right. Well, I've watched the last couple Columbus games. They've scored in their last 4 games. They're unbeaten. They've scored 13 goals, and they've only conceded 2. And one of them was an own goal last Saturday against New England, and it was like a fluke own goal, like that came off of a cross where it hit the guy's leg and just took a weird bounce in. So, but they got so many attacking pieces. We all know Lucas Bellerin. He's really good. They got a homegrown kid, Aiden Morris. He's playing really well. Christian Ramirez up top. He's scoring a lot. They got Darlington Nagbe, the old U.S. national player who's played feels like he's played 300 games in MLS. He played for Portland for ages. They got a lot of talent. They have a really, really good manager. It's no surprise that they're second in the league. Right? I think they're going to absolutely hammer us. I hate to say it, but I think Columbus is going to win 4-0. I don't like it, but that's kind of what I've seen based on how we're playing. I think we're a disaster on offense and defense. I think we're gonna be in for a tough game. Columbus didn't really get the result that they wanted against New England. They gave up a really own goal pretty early, and they had to fight. They got the tying goal in the 98th minute. It was kind of like a lucky header that went in. They had chance after chance after chance. New England made some great saves, but Bellerin had just so many dangerous shots. I mean, they're miles above better than us. And New England's in first place in the East, so this was not like it was a bad result for them to go 1-1, but they're going to open the doors up in the next game. I wouldn't be surprised if they have 25 plus shots, probably at least double digits on target. So I think we're going to get absolutely hammered in that game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope somehow we upset them and win, 2-1. I don't see it happen, and I'm trying to be realistic. When it comes to South Georgia Tormenta, I'm very familiar with them. They're actually third right now in USL League One with a losing record. And it's crazy how it works that way because that's because they played more games than other teams in the league because they had to postpone some games because of weather. They've actually played 5 games where a lot of teams only played 2 or 3. They have 2 wins and 3 losses, and they're in third place. But they're going to play, if you guys want to watch it tomorrow on ESPN+, they're going to play at 6 o'clock against the expansion team from Knoxville. They're probably going to lose the game. If you want to scout them and get a good idea what they're about, you can watch that game. And most of their games, they've gotten absolutely dominated. I saw them play, like I said, here at the home opener at North Carolina SC and Cary, and we outshot them 20-2, right? And they scored on one of their goals, but they're not a very good team. It really depends on what lineup Charlotte puts out. If we put out a Crown Legacy lineup, we might win 2-1 or something. If we put kind of like a rotation with some Ben Benders and maybe even put Swiderski and some of these guys in, I think you guys are right. We'll probably win 3-0 or something of that nature. So, but you never know. In their first game, they actually upset a USL championship team. They played against Rio. What is this? Van Growley or something? Out here. It's the Grand Valley Rio, whatever that is. It's the Toros. Played against them, and that team had 25 shots to their 3, and they still won the game 2-1. They got absolutely lucky. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in soccer, but I expect that we'll beat them, and then it'll be interesting to see who wins the Battery and the Independent. We definitely want to avoid a road game at Charleston. That would be a trap game for us. If we get Charleston, at least Columbus, we're definitely going to lose and should have no problem. Make money.
Nice. I sat here and listened to you all talk, and nobody has any hope for Columbus. and I go online and I see no hope for Columbus game. And I just want to set you the scene. This is exactly how it's going to happen. Okay, we're in the stoppage time after the 90th minute. Bender sets up. There's been a foul, so there's a set piece. Bender goes up, crosses into the middle, and Enzo heads it, and he scores. Bender goes to the corner, kicks the flag. Enzo goes over and celebrates with him as Enzo rips off his shirt, and the team's celebrating, beer showers to everybody in the supporters section. Everybody's feeling good, and with a final score of Charlotte 1, Columbus 5, it's over.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I knew it was coming.
I love it.
I knew that was coming.
yeah, we're gonna get destroyed. I mean, I've went back and seen Columbus has beaten everybody, destroyed them, and they've destroyed people who've destroyed us. So, like, yeah, 5-1 is my prediction. I had to set it up and get you hype up a little bit.
I'm not gonna. Miles, that reminds me. I'm not gonna lie. You had us in the first half.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to ask you guys something. I mean, I know, like, okay, the game we played versus Salt Lake. Is this game for us versus Columbus? Like, I mean, is it like I know Columbus is good. Don't get me wrong, but is it a trap game for Columbus?
I think we have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
I think it can be considered that because even before these last two games, like between Real Salt Lake and Colorado, we seen this like, oh, that's a loss. Like, like we were not. That was even hoping for like worst case scenario, we get 4 points is what we were saying was worst case scenario. Newsflash, we got 1, but I think that it could be a trap game for them, but I still think that they're too good to just leaps and bounds ahead of us to like us to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna get them, But I mean,
yeah.
It'd be nice.
We're playing with house money on this one. I mean, we're expected to come in here and just get run roughshod over, and if we come out with a draw match, I mean, it's going to be much different than drawing against Colorado. I mean, drawing against Colorado feels like a loss, whereas drawing against Columbus is going to feel like a huge victory. I mean, again, we're playing with house money. We're expected to come away with the loss. So anything a point, and if we can pull off a miracle and win the 3 points off of it, I mean, that could just go a long way. But yeah, it could be a trap game for Columbus. They could come out and see, oh, it's Charlotte. We can maybe a little bit here and not put 110 into it and just put we can coast to a victory and we might catch them by surprise. I don't see them doing that. I see them, taking it every chance that they can get.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, as much as some of that may be true, it's like I don't want to get my hopes up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about because, I mean, there's a scene what has happened so far this year, right? And Columbus is really, really good, and they kind of had a disappointing game if you think about where they give up an own goal and tie the game 1-1 in a game they probably should have won, 2-0 or something. So they're going to be like, oh, well, now we got to get it right game. Go down to Charlotte, which is terrible. We're going to smoke them. And then they don't have to play their Open Cup game until Wednesday against one of the worst teams in USL Championship in Indy 11. So they got them at home, and then they got the next 3 MLS games at home. So I mean, they're looking at they're looking at it right now, and the first one's Inter Miami, right? So they're looking at it like they're going to rack up a bunch of wins right now, and they're going to be pushing, one of the top teams right now in the East, and be at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And like for the South for the game against Tormenta, I think we went 2-0. I think we're even with some of our worst players. I think we're good enough to get a clean sheet there. I think George Marks is even going to be more alert, or which he may not even play this one, but like Kalina will be. I think he'll be good enough for this situation too. So I think that we win at 2-0. I honestly, I would love to see us score more than that, but I don't know. Some of these teams can be tough to overestimate, but I don't see the other team getting more than one. I don't see us getting like less than 2.
Tormenta's not good.
Right.
Good thing is Tormenta's not good. Okay, and they're two levels down in USL League One, and they're going to give it all they got, but they don't have much to give to begin with, right? And they get absolutely steamrolled in some of their games. Okay? So I think if we come out there with a halfway decent roster, we could absolutely rock their. I mean, it'll be over by halftime, right? If we go out there with the Crown Legacy, then who knows what will happen.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. We've only gave our predictions for both games, but we need to honor our fellow knights to sit here at the crown table with us, the round crown table. But who are we feeling this week is going to be our honorary knight? Who do we feel?
All right, so I'll start it off, and I told you guys earlier that I was going to kind of shock you with this one. So this is a guy that I have been none too easy on over the year. He's someone that we expected a lot of early on, and I even made a fake April Fool's Day image with him being sold to some random team, and that is, of course, Kamil Józwiak. I've got to invite him. Ever since I put that out there, he's actually shown that he knows how to do something. So for me, I kind of got to eat some crow and come back to it, and I've got to invite Kamil to the table, which means he is probably going to disappear for the next 2 or 3 months, and we won't hear anything from him. But I do have to invite Kamil to the table. The other option that I had was Kerwin, because he has scored some goals as well. But for someone that did almost nothing over the first year that we had him, in times that we needed, he has stepped up and started to produce some. So what do you guys think?
Well, I've been thinking about this. Seems like everybody I bring to the table has a terrible game. I bring Nuno Sanchez to the table, and he just disappears from the roster, So going on that, going on that, I'm hoping that I'm going to bring Latanzio to the table, so hopefully he just disappears, right? That seems to be the trick.
This is turning out a little different now.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to bring an actual player. I'm actually going to put Bidbender at the table. I think if anybody's going to have some dangerous opportunities against Columbus, it'll definitely be him. And I actually expect him to play the whole game on Tuesday against Tormenta, and I think he'll do really well in that game. He'll probably actually get a couple goals and do something else. So he's going to be my guy. I'll put him at the crown table. He needs more playing time. I mean, bringing the guy in at the last second, this is not working. Very creative. So he's my guy that's sitting at the crown table this week.
Myles, you want to go, or
you can go ahead if you want to.
Oh man, yeah, I really want to see. I really want to see Copetti get going. I want to see him, get back on the score sheet. And so I'm just gonna do him. I'm gonna do Knight Copetti. Just because I want to see him, get back to scoring a goal or some goals. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Very, very solid options, and yeah, I feel like I have to look back and kind of think about like how, because now I'm thinking about mine when you were talking about everybody's like disappeared and like you literally made somebody disappear, but I'm trying to think of like who's like what have mine done, right? And I'm gonna go with Swiderski because he's had great moments. He's scored great goals. I feel like he's been stepping up kind of more quietly. We haven't talked about him as much, but I feel like he's a solid player for us, and it's just kind of the the DPs have all stepped up. I just think it's kind of a defensive issue, but I would like to see Swiderski get a couple goals, and I would like to invite him back to the crown table. Even though I don't know if I've invited him before, maybe I have. I don't think so. But we'll go with Swiderski because I think that he could really step it up for us on offense this week. So he's got 2 games to figure it out if he plays in the second one.
So guys, I actually have some good news or bad news. On independent.ie, which looks like an Irish maybe news website. It says Jack Byrne set to stay with Shamrock Rovers after fresh MLS bid is rejected.
Oh wow!
So looks like they
say what the bid was.
looks like they rejected Charlotte's offer of like 425 euros or 425,000 euros. So I don't know. He may not be coming after all.
It doesn't look like it.
Well, to put it in perspective, we paid almost 2 million euros for Jan Sobocinski. So we got the bankroll to go a little bit higher on him. If you look at Transfer Market and you look at Jack Byrne's valuation, valued at 500,000 euros, which is somehow lower than Brant Bronico. I'm not sure how that's possible, but we may have to pony up a little bit more money to get him. But I think it's a waste. It's a waste, to be honest.
Yeah, reading this article too, it also says that he'll be able to speak with other teams in the summer window. So it may not be the last time we hear from him, but it looks like the club has rejected the offer for him. But if he was going to leave from their perspective, that's pretty stupid, right? Like, get some money for him, right? But
that's the top team in Ireland, right? And he's one of their players that's played over 100 games. Probably comfortable at home, and is, I don't know if it's the same city he's from, but he's from the same country, right?
Right.
He probably feels comfortable over there. But I do know that he would make more money in maybe soccer, obviously, but that may not be important to him. It might be important to be family. We don't know what his personal life is, but we can do better. We can do so much better. Like, this should be like no big deal.
And there you have it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that situation unfolds. And I'm sure we're definitely going to talk about this again as more news develops, and we'll be getting closer and closer because it's not quite the last episode of April; it's the next to last. But summer window, it's coming. It's coming, and we're gonna do nothing but get people from Croatia second league. Are you excited? Are you excited? Because I'm so excited. Can you hear it? Can you hear it in my voice how excited I am?
Guys, I want to just say, after having 2 weeks off, you have totally 100% lifted my spirits. I'm ready to run through a brick wall this weekend against Columbus. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, because I am fired up and ready to go now.
Right.
Oh, me.
Ready to run out of the bank 3-1, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Yeah, 5-1 is when.
Don't forget, if you guys want, any of you guys who are not attending the game, I know for sure Myles will be hosting another live stream. We had a really good group last week until they shut us down on Facebook for whatever reason, but we still went strong on Twitch and on YouTube. Myles, if you want to plug that.
Yeah, so Knights of the Crown Table on everything except for Twitter and Instagram. It's CLT Crown Knights. You can find us on social media. We'll be Knights of the Crown Table is on Facebook as well as YouTube and Twitch. If you are a Twitch user and enjoy that, check us out on Twitch because we'll be live there as well. We'll be streaming on multiple platforms and talking. So yeah, we're trying to make it available as much as possible. So whatever is easiest for you. And yeah, the Facebook thing, we'll be able to go live. Hopefully, it keeps us the whole time. I emailed them trying to figure out what it was, and they said, you violated our policies. I was like, okay, which one? So I can fix that. And they said, you violated one of our policies. And so they've just kind of gave me a runaround. So I've not had a response that's, but hey, it'll be live for at least an hour. That's what we did last time. No, but we'll figure something out. See, and what's crazy is like the week before that, it worked fine. And then, I don't know. They just hate Charlotte FC. Facebook hates Charlotte.
Watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, watch it on
Or
YouTube.
YouTube.
That's the most dependable. Or Twitch. Either way. But if there's more ways, definitely check this out. But yeah, I'll probably be live for both of those. So the game Saturday at 7:30, correct? Is that yes, 7:30 p.m. Saturday
correct.
against Columbus. And then Wednesday. No, I'm looking at the wrong
Tuesday.
schedule. Tuesday. I was looking at Columbus's. My apologies. Yeah,
From
Tuesday.
Matthews Sports Complex, but I will not be going. I will be on the stream with you both Saturday and I'm looking forward.
Right, yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. And yes, you don't have to remember too many different times. It's 7:30 p.m. both times, Eastern Standard Time, if you're from a different region or Germany. We got a lot of German. We have the German percentage has stayed consistent in the analytics, so I'm convinced we have some consistent German listeners. Guten Tag.
We might have to do a Bayern Munich podcast.
Oh,
Or German friends.
but what if it's either they hate them or love them? So we're just right, like, but yeah.
So hopefully Charlotte can get a win on Saturday, because that is supposed to be yours truly's birthday. So hopefully,
Yeah. Well, happy birthday to you. We were within 5 goals.
Happy birthday. There you go.
maybe we'll get that consolation.
Yeah, consolation 90-minute goal from Copetti. But yeah, are there any final thoughts? Anything I would like? Sorry, before I let y'all say something, I'd just like to say too. Like, I appreciate all the people who've listened and have interacted with us, because
100%.
we've consistently been growing as well each episode, and it's just great, and we love the live streams. We love it. Like, I look forward to this every week. We have such a good time, and I hope that you're not as depressed listening to us as we can seem, but we're just being real, real emotions, the way we feel, and we got to, it's not like life. It's not always sunshine and rainbows, and sometimes you just gotta face the facts. But
Exactly.
what y'all have anything you'd like to say? Or?
So just some local news that was announced this week. America Stadium is going to have the U.S. Men's National Team playing Nicaragua on Saturday, July the 2nd, same day that the Honduras is going to be playing Haiti. And then it was just announced that Chelsea making a stop in Chapel Hill playing against, I think it was Wrexham.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So a couple of big games coming up for area. We have one in Chapel Hill, one in Wrexham, and then they'll have that tournament. I guess the 7-on-7 or whatever tournament that's coming up later on.
Yeah.
So
that'll be where I'm at.
Exactly. So there's a lot of football, a lot of soccer going on around here. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So we can continue to grow the sport around this area.
100%.
Yeah. If you guys have never been to a Gold Cup, I highly recommend it. I've actually been several times. The doubleheaders are a lot of fun. People get very passionate for their countries, and it's really cool to see countries play each other that aren't the United States. To watch their fans go at it, it's tremendous fun. I highly recommend it. It's better if you sit like on the club level, so you can watch all the chaos below you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to see if I can try to get to that game. So maybe we can do a meetup if anybody goes to that game.
I think I'm coming down for it. I think I'm going to come down for it. So
That'd be fun.
I went to the Gold Cup where the U.S. played in Washington D.C. I mean,
hey, that would be
not
a good
that
one.
far for me. So
Right. Yeah. Well,
USA.
that's right. Yeah.
And one last thing about USA, just want to put it out there. We're tied Mexico 5 straight games now, so Mexico hasn't beat us for quite some time. If you guys saw.
Yeah.
Yep.
As the United States owns Mexico, Charlotte owns Chelsea. Don't forget those.
Too.
Well, forget it.
Don't forget it.
Well, Wrexham might be owning them soon.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's hilarious. We beat just the way Chelsea's performed this year, it just doesn't look as good. Right. It's like,
Don't spoil it, Myles.
it's just like I've talked with Paul about this briefly, but it's like, it is true. It's like this could have been predicted what happened to Chelsea. Like
The downfall of Chelsea started in Charlotte.
Downfall.
That's right.
Oh, it started the week before. Actually, they played Club America from the Mexican, and they actually gave up this horrible own goal. If you guys haven't seen it, go look at it. It was embarrassing. And then they played against us and lost it. And the Chelsea fans to this day are still mad about it because to those guys, there's no such thing as a friendly when it comes to Chelsea. Like, when you put on that kit, it matters. They don't care who they're playing against. They take it seriously.
I beg to differ.
We were kind of like that we were kind of the key performance indicator for them that they were going to have a bad season, and we've already seen they're on their fourth manager now. So
that night, you don't know how many Chelsea fans were telling me that it did not matter because it was a friendly. When we beat,
they were
was
lying
just a
to
coping.
you.
oh,
was
I
coping
know,
right there.
yeah, it was coping. But and I mean they didn't go easy. Okay, that lineup was not a cupcake lineup. All right, and we made as many subs as they did. Anyway, sorry, I'm not trying to reminisce. Party. They put out that party like it's 2022, and I'm in that mindset. But that's the theme
guys,
for the game. Sorry.
Looking up just a quick thought about the Columbus game. Because we were looking at the betting lines for a couple of these games, right? So Charlotte FC, this is on DraftKings. Charlotte FC is plus 140. Columbus Crew is plus 180. And a draw is plus 240.
Oh man! So everybody, your money is that plus 180 right there. So that seems like a lock for me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, and then the Google one is like pretty much bogus, but
you know what the best hack to gambling is always bet against your team. Well, yeah, don't gamble or always bet against your team.
Don't gamble.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you either lose your money and your team wins, so you feel like you paid to win, or team loses, you get money. It's the best way to do it.
But, all you guys know, everybody knows who's betted before on sports betting, right?
Yeah.
The best days are the days you break even. Let's keep it real, right?
Yeah,
Let's keep it real. Like
Hey,
all been there. We've all sweated these games out where we think we got it, and then there's a bad bet at the end of the game, or your parlay doesn't hit. You already know how it is.
Hey, if I spent $200 and win 10, that was one good day. Okay, it's like and I'm gonna brag about it. Be like, look at this parlay that hit. I mean, don't look about $190 I lost there, but look at this $10 I won. But
the Google matchup they're trying to get our hopes up with Charlotte win probability 40%, Columbus 32%,
and they're smoking.
A draw 28%.
Wow.
So,
they have us going against Crew too.
Yeah, right.
All right. Tormenta by 5. Tormenta's gonna win 5-0.
So the last game against Colorado Rapids had the same thing. It had Charlotte as like a 56% chance to win, and Colorado had like 18%. The draw was whatever was left over to 30 or whatever, and we saw what happened. I mean, people who watch the game can tell you pretty quick. I mean,
I want to see what they're watching. Whoever's like getting these odds, I would like to know what they're seeing that I'm not, because we're having like a funeral. And they're like talking about like, oh, it's Charlotte. Here we go. It's gonna be close. It's like, what are you seeing?
giving us chances.
Yeah, I think they're stuck in 2022.
Does Cucho, is he supposed to play for Columbus this game? Anybody know?
I'm not too
You know,
sure.
injury reports is so hard to get in MLS. It's so frustrating, right?
Yeah,
So you see that a player is going to be out, and they really don't tell you a whole lot,
yeah, it's
especially when you're scouting another team. But that team don't need no more people. They already got so many home run hitters.
yeah, it's yeah, the way that they run their injury reports about like the IRS with taxes. By the time you know, it's too late. So
Let's all just we're like bracing for impact.
yeah, hey,
Bracing
no
for the
expectations is a good thing.
Exactly.
I mean, something good
That's
happens, you're like,
what I
hey,
watched
hey, you know, like I didn't even. You know.
Yeah, at least-
We'll draw and then be like, man, I can't believe we lost or drew. You know, it's like, but yeah,
I'm trying to tell you, Myles. June 24th, mark your calendar. That's the big win for us. We got Montreal at home.
it's
That's
true.
our big win coming up, bro. Because the next 10 games ain't happening.
Yeah, if we lose, it's our trap game. That's what you mean, and it's not a win; it's a trap game. It's a
That's our win. That's a W right there.
all right. Well, that dreaded game. I don't want to be favored in the game. To be honest with you, that scares me. but yeah, we have just passed our first ever 2-hour episode. So if you listen to all this, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. I don't know. We appreciate you listening this much. This is, but well,
Give
any
us some
final
feedback.
thoughts, gentlemen? Yeah, give us feedback. Yeah, put a crown and then the swords crossing in your Twitter picture or your Twitter whatever
Handle.
it is. Yeah, Twitter handle. I couldn't think about that. Let us know. You know, spread the Knights. You know, but again, thank you all for tuning in with us. We appreciate everything.
Thank you,
And,
guys.
We can't wait to see you back next week after 2 games. So check us out on the live streams. More information about that will be tweeted out. But again, thank you all. And let's go, Charlotte. It's for the crown. Let's get it.